Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Ryan's Trains. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend, an amazing Friday. Today's review, we're going to be doing a very something special for this review. We've been waiting for this thing for 16 years. 16 years, in fact. And that is the Lionel's Milwaukee Road 442 Atlantic Hiawatha. And this is going to be a fun review to do. This review is only going to be on the engine itself because right now the passenger cars, they're still at train road, so I got to pay those off because an engine and a steam locomotive, that's too much money. So luckily they have the passenger cars on hold for me. Once the passenger cars go in, I'll do a review of those passenger cars, every detail and spick and span of those, what those passenger cars have to offer. But we're only going to be reviewing the engine first, so I hope you guys enjoy. Sit back, relax, and let's watch the Hiawatha and learn about the history of this locomotive. So let's see you guys later. Let's get on to the history of this locomotive. The Milwaukee Road Class A's were a high-speed streamlined 442 Atlantic-type steam locomotives. They were built by the American Locomotive Company, known as ALCO, from 1935 to 1937 to haul the Milwaukee Road's famous Hiawatha Express passenger trains. They were numbered from 1 to 4, and they were among the largest and last Atlantic-type steam locomotives built in the United States. They were certainly from the largest, most powerful classes, and the first locomotive in the world to build for daily operations over 100 miles an hour, and the first classes were built completely streamlined, bearing their cast scenes for the rest of their lives. Although partially supplanted from the larger class F7 Hudsons from 1937, they remained the top flight services until the end. Locomotive number 3 was taken out of service in 1949 and cannibalized for spare parts to keep the other three Hiawatha Class A's in service from 1957. None of the Class A's survive today. It was truly remarkable what the Hiawatha and the Class A's did, reaching over 100 miles an hour to get to their destinations on time. Sadly, none of these locomotives ever survived to preservations. There's only been a few histories left of the Hiawatha where the tracks still go, and wishing that we could see these locomotives one day. But until now, they have now been brought back from model form thanks to Lionel and other HO manufacturers, so we can enjoy these amazing locomotives on your layout. I hope you guys enjoyed this history. Now here's the details of the Hiawatha locomotive number 1. Right here above the headlight, if you can see, there is a horn for this locomotive because in real life, these locomotives were not equipped with steam whistles. They were equipped with a Leslie A1 air horn that would sound, the sounds would cut through the fog better, and they were more higher pitched, just like the 261's air horn. They'll be louder when the engine's at full speed, so people would hear the engines coming. But there has been rumors, and I think some old Milwaukee Road books that said these locomotives actually did have steam whistles in them. The whistles sometimes have been located underneath here, like how the 611's bell have been hiding up in here. Some people said the whistle was hiding up underneath the plow of the engine or inside or underneath the cab of the locomotive. So that's where the whistles may have been. So prototypically, it could have had a whistle, or it could use the horn options. But right here, it's still got the old TMCC features. You open up the doors here, to open up the streamlined casing, I should say, and you get the beautiful smoke box inside the locomotive. And if you open up right here, the smoke box door does open, so you got a lot of cool details in there. You can open up multiple stuff in here just to get inside to see the engine. But all the other things this locomotive does have, it has a scale pilot, not like a pilot, a scale coupler with it, and then a dummy O-gauge coupler, so if you want to double head this engine, and that is by opening up here, which I can't really open since this thing must be like kind of like not cast in shut, but just very difficult to open. But in there, that's where the bell of the engine would be, is in that vent, and other people did say that that's where the whistle would have been, in this little vent with the bell. But here, this is where you hook on to double head this engine. And here you got working marker lights, and you got an actual working light. And I'm just going to tell you, put a warning out there, do not buy Hiawatha number 4 unless you can fix the issue that Lionel screwed up on heavily. What the issue is, Lionel decided that this is a Mars light, and the number 4, this will be the working headlight, which right here is supposed to be the Mars light. And Lionel screwed up heavily with that. And if you see it all on Instagram, so whatever you do, if you know how to change the Mars light and the headlight, I would say go for it. Or if you don't want to do it, just buy number 1 or number 2. The other locomotives, number 3 is reason why they didn't make number 3, because they already did that. That's the one that is very hard to find. That is the TMCC one of the Hiawatha. Come along over here, we got some nicely detailed. This whole engine is just shiny, and it is perfect. If people says this thing is too shiny, well, sorry to burst your bubble, because this is what it would look like coming out of the Alco shops, all brand new, and this would have looked like running on the Milwaukee roads pulling their Hiawatha excursions. Not really excursions, they're passenger trains. And yes, this engine must have been very hard and difficult for crews to clean after this engine was done in service. And right up here, we got the smoke unit, that is the smokestack, and you got the safety pop-off steam. So when you have this engine sitting there idling, the steam will shoot out from here to simulate the pop-off valves are at work. And the only reason to fill this locomotive, you just simply pour the fluid down the smokestack and it'll connect to here. So both the two smoke units will be working together. Right along here, we do got a separate light-in detail and some figures inside the cab, which is very detailed inside the Hiawatha. And the cool thing is, the doors do open, and it's got a legible, it's kind of hard to tell because the shadow, but let me see if we're going to zoom on it. There we go. It's got an American Locomotive Company builder's plate on the Hiawatha. And right along here, the drivers, it got the, see if you can focus. There we are, American Locomotive Company, Schenectady, New York. There we go. So yep, you could see where the locomotive, and it was May 1935 the locomotive came out of the shops. So this whole thing is just beautiful. The drivers are all nice, spick and span. I was really worried that Lionel was going to screw up and make them light pink, but I'm glad they actually made the errors correctly now, because that's what these locomotives looked like, was not pink, it was this color. So we're going to be looking at the tender. I originally wanted the tender that had the big Hiawatha emblem on the tender, but Lionel only did the number 1 when it first came out, what it looked like. So this is what the engine looks like, and we got these 2 tender trucks, and we got this weird tender, trailing truck underneath the tender. I don't know what this is used for. I guess Milwaukee Road wanted to cut cost on the tender, so maybe this must be like express like trailing wheel for the tender. But the tender is all found nice, and you don't get the crew inside, so that's the one thing you're going to have to deal with. But overall, this engine is very detailed. And this engine is an oil burner, so it only burned oil and not coal. You can't open up the hatches, but I guess this is where the water would have been filled. You can open up these two, and there you go, inside the tender of the engine. The marker lights do open. This is a Vanderbilt tender, so basically like with British locomotives. There's a corridor that goes along inside the tender of the engine to lead to the cab, so it's easier for crews to get through the tender to get to the engine. And overall, this engine is just very, very nice. I wear surgical gloves when I take this engine out of the display case or anything, because I don't want to get my fingerprints on it, because this engine is just so well amazing. When I first took it out of the box, this engine just shined so good, and that's how I wanted it to be. On the other side, you can see it's basically the same on the other side of the locomotive, all basically the same. So that's how the details you see in this locomotive, that's all. And before I get underneath the tender of the cab, there is the program switch and the smoke unit on-off switch, and I think the Bluetooth switch. So it's not built into the engine like how we see with other Lionel engines. It's all still underneath it, just like all the old TNCC era. And that's basically all the details of this engine. So we're going to hook this engine up with my Milwaukee Road Pullman passenger cars, and we're going to run this around the layout. So I hope you guys enjoy that video of the running session.
Oil full, out. Timetable only gives us 10 minutes for this stop. Out here the fire. Go jump off the state. Gonna be running along if we don't move out soon. Timetable only gives us 10 minutes for this stop. Out here the fire. Go jump off the state. Switch list says we've got 1 off and 3 on at the head end. Gonna be running along if we don't move out soon. Got a lot of tonnage today. Better punch in some slack before we start out. What are your orders?
Says hold here for 2 weeks and then take the main to the next interlocking.
guys come around and watch this amazing video of the Milwaukee Road Hiawatha Locomotive number 1. This was an amazing model that Lionel, I think, for my opinion, I think Lionel nailed this one out of the park, except with locomotive number 4, which they screwed up on the Mars light. I'm glad I ordered number 1 instead of that one, but they really nailed it out, and I can't wait to review the Hiawatha passenger car sets for this train. So that'll be a fun time to do, but after all that, this has been a very enjoyable review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys are wondering that if I'm going to be doing a catalog review, nah, the catalog is too expensive for me to review because Lionel just overpriced everything. So no, I'm not reviewing it. I'd rather buy from MTH or Atlas. But anyways, from that, hope you guys enjoy this amazing review. And I always say before, the person who designed the streamlining of the Hiawatha engines was Otto Cooler. So there's a fun fact for everyone out there. But hope you guys have an amazing Friday out there, amazing weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.